Hello, my lovely PowerCats, and welcome back to Enigmarella. Where we last left off, Esmond and Gerling were having some beef. So let's see what's going on.
He cornered me the moment we walked into the hall.
Ruh-roh.
Alone at last.
I don't... He takes advantage of people a lot. Like, he's doing that to Leah, and now he's trying to do it to Alice. That's just like, is that out of spite? Is he depressed? Like, what's going on there? I'm not saying all depressed people are like that, but sometimes when people are like having like health problems, they do stuff like this. Not all the time, but still a few times.
I could feel his hot breath against my face.
I do like his outfit though, and his hair.
What?
Run.
It's all right, my sweet. We both know you're not here by choice.
And, dude, no wonder Gerling doesn't like you.
He traced his fingers along my cheek and up over my lips.
That's the accent tracks right there. You gotta have consent.
Oh, you could be such a pretty thing. If only we could get the stench of provincial foundling off of you.
Well, that's rude.
That isn't much of a compliment.
Basically saying that she's homeless.
Coming from me it is, my dear. Besides, it's not your fault that you were locked away and sheltered most of your life like a songbird in a cage.
And you're lucky enough to be a half-brother to Gerling, so you don't qualify as nobility, so you can take advantage of women.
He was close. Dangerously close.
I both like Esmond and don't like Esmond at the same time.
But I could make a real lady out of you. I could take you places. Wouldn't you like that?
You need to go to the horny jail.
Well, would I?
You're married, yeah. Even if it's arranged, Gerling's a lot healthier for you than this jerk right here.
I'm married to your brother.
Most likely half-brother, but still.
That's perfectly all right. After all, what kind of brothers would we indeed be if we didn't share everything?
What the?
Dinner is ready. Shall I go and fetch your husband, Miss Alice, or would you rather tell him yourself?
Alice, you should probably go get him yourself so you can get out of that situation.
I will go and look for him, Miss Hall.
Yeah, good choice.
Please make sure you show Mr. Wells to his place. I found my husband in the library, making a call on his porticom.
I'm talking about human bones, Bertrand.
That's probably what, Frederick was digging up was remains.
Bertrand? As in, Julian Bertrand?
All over the freaking garden. Neptune knows how many people.
So, did Alice's dad kill more than one person?
Human bones. In my father's garden.
That's some fertilizer right there.
I held my breath for a moment, slightly troubled by the realization of just how unsurprised I was to hear that. The same couldn't be said about my husband, who looked like he was about to rip the head off of whomever was on the other side of the porticom line.
Like I said, it is only a matter of time before we find it. As for the other thing you mentioned, I had no idea of its existence. And before you ask, yes, I fulfilled my promise.
Marrying Alice.
Don't congratulate me just yet. I'm still not sure how she feels about it. You said there was a chance she would remember, but I know. But I'm afraid we must continue our conversation some other time. And, Bertrand, I really hope you come up with a very good explanation for those Neptune-forsaken bones. That is, of course, if you want to see what else is buried in the garden.
He hung up and turned to face me.
Eavesdropping is a bad habit, my lady.
55.
What?
The bones of 55 different persons are buried in my father's garden, but you won't find even one complete skeleton. That unsettling information flowed into my thoughts, and out through my mouth almost automatically. There was no emotion behind it, despite the gruesomeness of the situation. It was just common knowledge, just something I'd known my entire life.
It's coming back to her now that she's at the house.
How do you know that?
I just do.
Did he...
He was a doctor, husband. Furthermore, he was a researcher. There are several legitimate ways in which he could have acquired so many unidentified corpses, or pieces of them.
Like cadavers.
And what else are you trying to find, anyway?
I will tell you everything. But not while Esmond is around.
Yeah, he's a weasel. A weasel.
And then, as I was taking one final bow, I realized that the woman in the front row, she the one whom had been brought to tears by my performance, was none other than Her Majesty Empress Lena herself. It was such a humbling experience.
I know that reference, Empress Lena, considering my friend helped make the story. Well, she didn't help, she made the story and the art. And Lena is actually one of her Fable OCs. So, I like that.
Maybe she was just overwhelmed to be the only one in the crowd who wasn't sleeping soundly. In any case, Lena is not known to be a woman of culture.
Since you gentlemen seem to be so well acquainted with the Empress, would you be so kind as to answer a question that's been troubling me for quite some time?
We can do our best.
An empire is supposed to be conformed by more than one kingdom, am I right?
Yes. Is that your question?
Not really. What I mean is that Poseidia is just one kingdom. Why do we call it an empire? And why do we have an empress?
That's true. They have a king and queen.
That, my dear Alice, is one of the greatest mysteries of our...
Lena decided it gave her more panache and upgraded herself to Empress. Simple as that.
But empires have more land and stuff.
Sounds like our empress is quite flaky.
You have no idea. She is.
No, it's quite rude for titles to speak ill of our sovereign. More so my brother, when Her Majesty has always held you in such high esteem. Isn't it true she once considered you a suitable candidate to be her consort? But I understand how you could turn down a woman like the Empress in favor of our lovely Alice here.
Dude.
Our marriage was arranged. Neither of us had any choice on the matter.
Oh, is that so? I would have thought Her Majesty could easily overrule such contracts. Unless, of course, my brother really wanted to marry you, a beautiful girl he had only admired from a distance. That doesn't sound creepy at all, does it?
You're creepy too.
I turned to look at my husband. His expression remained completely neutral, and he had made no attempt to deny Esmond's words. Could it be that he had really turned down the Empress to marry me? Husband?
I don't think she really meant it. It was more of a spur-of-the-moment kind of thing.
What? I couldn't believe it. Girling had actually turned down the freaking Empress and married me.
I'd be flattered.
So, I'm prettier than the Empress. I batted my eyelashes and smiled coquettishly at my husband.
Watch him shoot her down.
Yes? But what really matters to me is that you're a little bit less insane than she is.
Reason why I'm giggling is because, like, I know my friend's character, Lena, is just... she's not okay.
But not that much.
If the breakfast food had been unpleasant, whatever concoction Hall prepared for dinner was on the verge of nauseating. I don't think I can eat this food.
Nothing like Miss Hall's cooking to remind me of the pleasures of living in the capital.
And the joy it brings us when you are there.
Another reason to try and keep my visits to this town short and far apart.
When was the last time you were here?
A little over 2 years ago, I think.
2 years? That's not what.
Leah said.
You spend far too much time at sea, brother. I can understand how a life of maritime solitude might be appealing to the likes of you. But if Alice is ever to become somebody, she needs to become acquainted with the things that matter for young women like her.
Or let her decide what she wants to do.
Beg your pardon?
Society. She needs to be mindful of her status as a highborn.
I think you're just jealous.
Having her prancing around in her institute uniform instead of fine couture may be acceptable on this Neptune-forsaken dump of an island, but she couldn't possibly go out into public like that.
Man, Leah should not be dating you. But then again, I don't think anyone should be dating you. You are not a very nice person. Like, her outfit, Alice's outfit, was made by Leah. Besides, it looks really good. I'd wear it.
It's not a uniform!
Exactly.
Keeping her looking like a peasant may just send the wrong message about you.
It looks good.
Peasant!
And what would that message be?
That you are so insecure in regard to your wife's affections that you would rather hide her true potential than risk another man taking notice of her.
I couldn't care less about it, brother.
I think Esmond is... well, he's intentionally trying to drive Alice and Gerling apart, but, like, I think he's projecting.
You should. If not for your sake, then certainly for Alice's.
Why don't you ask Alice what she thinks?
And you should stop talking like she wasn't sitting right there.
Exactly.
Thank you, husband. Although I would like to ask the same from you.
Forgive me, Alice. I got carried away in the conversation.
Too carried away to eat anything, it would seem. What is it, brother? Are you not hungry?
He eats cookies.
You know very well that I don't eat anything that I didn't cook myself.
Except for cookies.
Well, it would take a very special kind of jerk to poison a cookie.
You know, he should have told her that before Alice is trying to eat the things that Miss Hall makes when Miss Hall has shown hostility towards Alice.
Did someone try to poison you?
A couple of times, maybe.
Why?
Why wouldn't they?
I would have thought that being caught between the attentions of two handsome men would be quite thrilling. But as it turned out, I was far busier trying to usher the conversation away from awkward family insults and petty jabs. You can cook, husband. That's weird for a gentleman.
Not really, it's a life skill that everyone should be taught.
Good thing my brother isn't anything of the sort.
Neither are you.
It's a survival skill I had to pick up early in my life.
Why? I would have thought that you'd have had an army of servants while growing up. They exchanged looks.
Our family was not in the best situation at the time.
They were probably made into nobility rather than being born into it.
That's an understatement.
They probably explain why Esmond isn't a noble, I don't think. Because he's dating a egalitarian.
Our father did the best that he could. Of course, it's only normal that you wouldn't appreciate that.
Right. Because you were the one who had to put up with our father's finest moments.
Do you guys need a drink or something?
Oh, now that you mention it,
They're gonna get into a fight.
I hope that you are not so overly suspicious about the spirits, brother. I'm not one to drink alone, unless Lady Alice cares to join me.
Lantier always told us girls about the ill effects of alcohol, how consuming too much, or consuming brews too strong, could put one in serious danger.
You're right, especially with a men like that.
But, yet again, Lantier wasn't there. And, in all honesty, if there was ever a moment for me to take on drinking, this was it.
Don't drink with that guy, though.
I guess I could have just a little bit.
Are you trying to get my wife drunk?
Me? Of course not. It's just one drink. Besides, nobody is forcing her. At least not on this matter.
That's suspicious.
I'm a big girl, husband. I believe I can handle myself.
Are you sure, Alice? You don't have to feel pressured to do anything you don't want to do.
That's rich coming from you.
It's all right, husband. I don't think one drink will hurt me.
All right, but if you need anything...
I'll be fine. So, what are you boys drinking?
Absinthe, of course.
That stuff is potent.
I'll stick to gin, if you don't mind.
Cheap gin, if memory serves. You can take the man out of the docks, but you can't take the docks out of the man.
What can I say? I'm really good at holding my liquor.
Right.
I'm doing gin because absinthe is kind of lethal.
I guess I'll have the same as my husband.
You could go blind drinking that, you know.
And you can die by drinking absinthe.
I'll be fine.
Besides, absinthe, like, you have to prepare a certain way so it will kill you.
It really isn't for the faint of heart.
Well, gin's not as isn't any better, but still.
Just give it here.
Alice, don't do that, sweetie.
I poured myself a small glass of the clear liquor. It certainly smelled quite a bit stronger than I initially thought. I took a small sip. The darned drink burning on the way down like liquid fire. It burns.
Told you.
You, husband, are a very, very strange man.
Did you just notice that?
Seriously. Even I know this swill is for sailors, not what a proper gentleman would drink.
That, my dearest Alice, is anything but a gentleman. He may look like one, he may even have the title, but he certainly is not a gentleman.
You're not either.
On that, brother, I can't agree more. I definitely love being a sailor more than I've ever cared for being a lord.
Really? Have you ever been on a real ship, husband?
3 years as chief engineer of an expedition vessel to begin with.
You've got to be joking. That's illegal.
It's true. I was there too, for a while.
Tell me all about it.
It was...
Not much, just ice and snow all over. We didn't make it all the way up north at any rate.
You didn't, because you bailed out after only a few months.
But you did make it, husband? All the way to the Nivens glaciers, you mean?
That's another thing from my friend's story. A little Easter egg.
Yes. I spent the greatest 3 years of my life on board the Thunderstorm.
I love this.
I got to visit the strangest of places and see the most unusual sights.
The poles. Big freaking deal. Nothing but ice and snow on one side and ruins and jungles on the other.
Still, a lot more interesting than just staring at the same old buildings in the capital.
The capital is the heart of Pisidia, brother. It's not about what you see, but who.
The same old pompous lot. Forgive me if I'd rather be surrounded by ice and snow or exploring ruins and jungles.
What happened?
Beg your pardon.
Why did you leave the thunderstorm?
My father, the old Duke, passed away. It was my duty to assume the position. It would have been far too dangerous for me to carry on sailing. One thing is to hide your nobility status when you're just the Duke's son. Another one is to do so while being the Duke himself.
You had to choose between being a duke or a sailor.
Yes. And my duty is to this island and to Pisidia, even if my heart belongs to the sea.
To the sea. And to me.
And that's why he asked Alice if she wants to sail.
Of course, dear.
Aww.
I don't see why Lantier makes such a big fuss about drinking. I don't feel any different.
Oh, you will.
Some drinks can be quite deceptive.
Mm-hmm.
What I like about gin is that you always know that it's bound to knock you out.
Same thing could be said if you just took a sip of poison. You know it's bound to kill you. The question is, why ever would you want to do that?
If anyone chooses to drink poison, they would still be making a conscious decision.
You know, it's funny you talk about choice, given the circumstances.
Esmond has a point, you know.
He does, and he doesn't. Yes, Alice. You were forced to marry me. It was unfair. And you should have been able to choose whomever you want to spend your life with. But what the both of you are either overlooking or deliberately ignoring is that such is the way of nobility. And I didn't have any more of a choice than you did. And, for your information, when I said I was good at holding my liquor, I meant it literally. I only hold it, never drink it.
So, like I was saying, I don't know which one is cuter. You, my dearest husband, or Ezzy here.
I think they're both cute. But I think Girling is a lot nicer. But I like the fashion sense of Esmond.
How much did she have?
1 glass.
About a glass and a half. Essie.
Man, Alice.
Don't call me that.
I am not drunk. I'm just trying to figure out stuff. All right?
You do you, Alice.
The room was a bit shaky, and I was seriously doubting whether or not I could stand up and walk about without making a fool of myself.
She's gonna fall over.
You know, I really don't think I should stand up just now.
Would you like me to carry you to your bed, Alice?
Pretty much so.
I think it would be much wiser if you just have some tea.
Isn't she quite something?
Dude, you're weird.
I almost choked on my tea when I felt Esmond's hand confidently stroking my thigh. I froze for a moment, not sure whether I liked it or not. His touch made me feel warm and twitchy inside. Yet again, it could have just been the alcohol.
Alice, get away.
As a matter of fact,
Your wife is quite lovely indeed.
Dude, you're weird.
He squeezed tightly, and I could feel his fingers through the fabric of my skirt. I wasn't in a position to care whether it was wrong or not. All I could feel was my face growing hotter as his hand moved steadily upwards.
He's trying to take advantage of a drunk person.
Silence hung around us for a second. Esmond's hands were on me, but his eyes were locked upon my husband's.
I don't like that.
My thoughts were abruptly cut short as my stomach tied itself into a knot. I can't tell exactly how it had happened, but in that split second, Girling had managed to cross the long table and was pressing a steak knife to Esmond's throat.
As one should.
That's my wife you're disrespecting, you bastard.
Yep.
It took me a moment to notice that Esmond had removed his hand from my leg and was in turn pressing a gun into Girling's stomach.
Uh-oh.
She doesn't seem to mind, Your Highness.
She's drunk.
The intensity of the moment was enough for me to sober up instantly.
Yeah. No.
In case you have forgotten, husband, we are not married by choice.
Wait, did I just choose the wrong thing? Oh shit.
Is that so?
And you told me yourself that it was not unusual for nobility to take on different lovers.
I just made a bad choice. Oops.
If that is your desire, my dear, then I do believe that there is no reason for me to remain here.
I am so sorry. I'm sorry, Girling.
This is, after all, your father's house.
Sorry.
He turned around and left without saying another word.
I am so sorry.
Esmond smiled down at me, preparing to make another move. However, the adrenaline from the moment was already fading from my body, and the sudden drop caused the world around me to become a blur. Whatever happened next, I couldn't remember for the life of me.
I made a bad choice. Oh god.
I didn't remember my own bedroom facing in that direction, but maybe I was just adjusting to the new house. I opened my eyes and almost fell off the bed in shock. Where was I? Oh, crap!
I made a bad choice.
I checked myself and was relieved to see that I was still fully clothed.
Okay.
Oh, please. Like, what could be so bad that you don't want to invite me in?
I made a bad choice.
Absolutely everything. You wouldn't believe the innkeeper's laziness. I swear it must have been at least 3 days since somebody cleaned up.
I thought I was making the right choice. They said, of course not. I'm like, I made a bad choice.
You'd think these people would be more attentive if they're famous guests.
Leah? Esmond? How did I manage to wake up in Esmond's bedroom?
Alice, you might want to climb out a window.
Are you serious? I mean, it can't be nearly as bad as the Institute's common room. And, you know, I can always help you tidy up a bit and stuff.
Oh, why would you want to spend such a beautiful day cleaning my room? Especially when there are people who are being paid to do so.
I'm so sorry, Leah.
I just want to see what the big secret is about. It's not like I haven't been in your room before.
Why? Wait, you think I have another girl hidden in there?
Of course not. I just want to see. Besides, I really need to talk to you in private.
Neptune have mercy!
Alice, climb out the window.
I could hear Leah right outside the room. She sounded determined enough to come in no matter what Esmond said. There was an open window right behind me.
Yeah, climb out. Yes. Leave. Oh god, I'm so sorry.
All right. It was one thing to fool around with the idea of stealing my friend's crush, but another to actually make a full scene out of it. Besides, if Esmond was really two-timing me and Leah, what made me think he was even worth the fight?
Yeah.
I climbed out of the window, just in time.
So, What's the big secret?
It was one of your friends.
What in depths? Nothing. Just like I told you. The whole room is a complete mess, but nothing more.
I managed to find a perfect spot to spy on them. I had to know the full extent of Esmond's relationship with her.
I see you've gotten some new roses. I seriously would bet all my money that those are from Laura, the butcher's daughter.
If they bother you, I can get rid of them.
There was an inflection in Esmond's voice that I had never heard before.
As if. You know you can't just do that to your fans. It would be star suicide. Besides, it's not like I'm stupid or anything. I mean, I know being with a famous man like you requires some sacrifices.
You know, Leah, sometimes I really feel you're too good to me.
She is.
Granted, I didn't know Esmond that well, but even still, it was apparent that this wasn't the same person he had been the night before. All of his cockiness and conceit had been completely abandoned.
It won't be long now, you know.
For what?
Lantier won't be able to keep you in the Institute much longer.
I know, right? I should have been out a while ago.
Have you given any thought regarding what you're planning to do next?
True. Leah was a few months older than me. I had been so caught up in my own problems that I had completely forgotten.
I happen to be an extraordinary seamstress, you know. I've already gotten so many amazing offers.
That's good.
But I'm like in a bit of a jam right now.
What is it? Do you need anything?
Oh, don't mind me. I mean, it's nothing that I can't handle.
Why am I getting the vibe that something may be, going on, if you get my meaning?
Leah?
Really, I'll be alright.
Oh, crap.
Would you like to go live in the capital?
With you?
In a perfect situation, we would be there together, but this is hardly the case. There are people over there who know about you, about us. They would be willing to help you get started. Oh, you will be so much better off there than in this backwater town.
He's trying to get her out of the picture so he can get with Alice.
Why would I want to be there without you?
Because you have your whole life ahead of you. Because a bright and beautiful girl such as yourself will be wasted in this miserable town. A heart like yours should not be squandered on someone like me. I don't deserve you, Leah.
So, the vainest man I knew was saying he wasn't good enough for Leah. Not for me, but for Leah? That stung.
Of course you don't deserve me. You deserve much better. I'm not saying this just because you're a star and whatnot. I'm saying this because I love you. I am no longer any good for you, Esmond.
Don't say that. You know I love you too.
What? I snuck out of the room expecting for Esmond to see Leah as nothing more than just a fling. Not to actually be in love with her. Why did she have to be the special one? Why couldn't it be me?
You have a husband.
I was so angry that someone else, Leah of all people, was stealing all the attention once again, that I lost my balance. And to add insult to injury, I fell butt first onto some bushes.
Ouch. Hope there are roses. Heh, thorns.
Well, that sucks. And I didn't just mean the leaves and branches stuck to my bottom. As a matter of fact, I could hardly feel any pain from the fall. It was all obscured by Esmond admitting that he was in love with Leah.
You are married to Girling.
I wanted nothing more than to go back into that room and confront the both of them. I could almost envision the look on Leah's ugly face. Ooh, it would be so amazing.
You are so selfish.
However, the giant thug standing right in front of the door gave me pause. It was then that I realized that it would be much better to just go and rant to Nina. At this time of the day, she would probably be getting milk from the market. Nina!
Oh, dear. What a pleasant...
Can you believe what Leah has done this time?
Oh, no.
Excuse me?
I knew it! I knew it! I knew it! I knew it! Even before I talked to my friend, I knew it. Oh, I love her tattoo. I love her outfit. Like, if I had, like, a skinnier body, I would definitely dress like that.
My showman, my Esmond. She has been rubbing her ugly self all over him to the point of insanity.
Well, it was very obvious when you first met him that they had a thing together.
But
He thinks he loves her. Can you imagine?
Alice, that's...
Terrible. I mean, did she just think she could steal him from me?
You're stealing him from her.
But you are married.
Married?
I love her.
Besides, I was...
Why are you taking her side? I'm more your friend than she is. That time you got sick at the temple and almost puked on the priest? I was the one who didn't laugh at you.
You did laugh.
Yes, but it was unintentional. Now, back to my suffering.
You are a brat.
We need to find a way to get rid of Leah and my husband for good.
No!
Please tell me we are not considering murder.
Only as a second to last resort. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. What could Esmond possibly see in a wench like Leah? And how can I offer him something better?
This is awful. I don't like this.
Leah seems to know him better than we do.
I don't like this.
If only I knew someone who knows Esmond well enough and... Oh, crap.
What is it?
The only person I know who can help me with that happens to be my second problem. Let's see. I don't know Esmond well enough to make him love me. But at least I happen to know about Leah enough to make him hate her.
No! Oh, I made a bad choice.
Alice?
You're being mean.
I'm not mean, right?
You are mean.
And just so you know, this doesn't make me a bad friend.
Yeah, it does.
I never said...
It kinda does. And who the depths are you?
She is Nina's girlfriend.
Alice, this is you. She's my...
And why does she think she can pass any kind of judgment on me?
Because you are married and yet you want to steal your other friend's boyfriend?
I was forced into marriage, and Esmond did ask me on a date.
Ah, then I'll stand corrected. You are...
Good, because I'm not a bad person, and I don't want anybody to think otherwise.
You are a bad person.
Half of the Institute already does.
Well, I don't want anybody else to think otherwise. So, there must be something about Leah that Esmond will find completely unacceptable.
But what if he really does love Leah?
That's nonsense. A man like him could never love Leah.
Why?
Because he's famous.
Hold on a second. Are we talking about the Esmond?
Esmond Wells, of course.
There's no way a man like him could ever love whatever her name is.
Why?
Because he only cares about sex.
Because he's a jerk.
He is.
He's still a person.
Famous people are not like real people. And he is kind of a jerk, actually.
Then why do you want to get with him?
But why does that make it impossible for him to love Leah?
Because jerks like him don't love anyone but themselves.
That is true.
I am starting to like you.
Thank you. I still think you're a horrible person, though.
I love her.
I thought we'd fixed that already.
Nope.
Oh, Alice, you really don't have to do this. Your husband, he's just as handsome and...
He's a lot nicer.
You're taking her side again. Why are you always taking her side?
Because you're a bad person.
You know what?
I don't like you anymore. As a matter of fact, I don't like either of you anymore. I walked away without even looking back at them.
Alice, wait.
It was pretty clear that Nina wasn't going to help me.
So, we are at 40 some minutes, or maybe 30, whatever. I am going to save again, just to be safe. And I will see you in the next video.